region. Um, Sorry. Fun fact, we are the only joint LDF authority across all the smart zones. So we're the only one that has multiple cities together. So we are submitting this budget to amend just two items. It is the TIC additional sponsorship and also our unrestricted net spend down, which comes from our savings account. And that's my explanation. And questions, I'm happy to answer more.
Do you have any further questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Resolution.
All right, proper motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye, oppose. Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. All right, we're moving along. Jillian.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh, Lori just
Lori.
left. She just left. Jillian, yes, apology.
Prove it, you could call me.
Jillian, Lauren, who's there?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Moving on to our item E, designation of Maynard Castarian as the city auditor, and we have Crystal and Charles.
And maybe even Jake.
All right, and maybe Jake. Absolutely. Floor is yours.
Okay, so what we're asking for is a resolution for Maynard Castarian to continue the audit services for fiscal year 2026. And the reason that we're utilizing an extension of the existing contract is because there's a number of reasons. The main one is that we just recently went through the BSNA implementation, which was a heavy lift. It was also a deep dive for the team. There are still things that this robust system does, but we're still learning it. And we just believe that based on Maynard's experience, their understanding of the BSNA cloud, because for some departments, they were on the .NET and moved to the cloud. So for the finance department, this is moving from one platform to the other. We only have 1 year under our belt with the BSNA system. And so we feel that to move to a different service provider would put us at a disadvantage. The other reason is, of course, that they're familiar with our accounting structures. They're familiar with all of our departments, the type of financial transactions that we're involved in here at the city. And another big one that was consideration is the GASB 103 is going to be a major overhaul, and it's impacting the fiscal year 2026. And so we are going to need Maynard support on that as well, so that we can ensure that we're meeting all of our deadlines for the upcoming audit service as well. The folks in the room, basically the three of us, our chief strategist, budget director, our city controller, and myself, we got together and we talked about what would be best for not just our finance department, but also for the city, just to make sure that we could have a seamless experience when it comes to going through this system one more time with a little more knowledge, but still not to the extent that we would have just going through it one time. So those are some of the reasons that we wanted to do an extension with Maynard. And then, of course, you know, with the city charter, we would be going out to a RFP right after this, but it's just the timing right now to try to do that type of overhaul right now would not be advantageous to either finance or to the city.
Thank you. So with us just doing an extension for the 1 year and not putting it out, so there was no bid and there was no RFP or anything like that, could we look to amend some of the way the verbiage is in this resolution? Because it kind of alludes to that it was multiple entities or agencies that were reviewed where it says met and considered accounting firms to perform. So if we're not really considering any firms, could we amend some, how that verbiage sounds and just say that you chose to extend for 1 year, the current audit agency? There's another portion where it kind of alludes to where it's the would prefer that in the third paragraph, the city would prefer to engage the same. I mean, if we could just say that after review from you three parties, we would want to continue to extend by the 1 year, just so that there's some consistency
Yeah.
in your reasoning. That's my only comment. Committee,
All that sure.
thank you.
Because she can't make the motion, so.
I would move to amend the resolution to reflect the changes suggested by the chair.
Right, that's a proper motion. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes.
I'll move the amended resolution.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving down to a presentation for the Lansing Housing Commission Financial Statements and Independent Auditors Report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Steve?
Yes. So you guys have a copy of the audited report. I think it's required that we have a quick discussion annually on that. I'd like to just point out a couple highlights, and then any feedback or questions, feel free to participate as needed. So right on page 1 there is probably one of the more important aspects from my perspective, which is that the opinion is unmodified, it's clean, there are no questions on the financial statements by an external auditor. And I'll also point out just real quickly on page 46, there's a second opinion. So the first opinion is on the financial statements themselves. The second opinion is on what the federal government calls a single audit, but for purposes of our discussion, we could call internal audit work. And that opinion is also clean. So it just kind of goes down into a little bit deeper level of where we're at as far as the processing of transactions and other items that are going on within the Lansing Housing Commission. So, and then just, a couple of quick highlights. There's a lot of pages here, a lot of numbers. I don't want to necessarily get you too bogged down, but during that fiscal year that ended in June, we did close on the 2 properties that are now much more visible with the construction on 220 Riverview and 425 Grand Vista. They basically are on either side of the new city hall, so we'll be neighbors sooner rather than later, I think. So the other thing that the other couple of items that I think we're happy about down there is our net pension liability, which had been an issue going back 5, 7, 8 years, is now under $500,000. So it's not, in our greater budget, that's a relatively small number. And we have other post-employment benefits plan that some of our retirees are still participating in, and that plan is overfunded. So we don't have any sort of legacy liabilities out there that are kind of dragging us down, weighing down the commission. So, and then just the final point that I wanted to make was last year, in that fiscal year, we brought in over $27 million of federal funds that we obviously spend in the greater Lansing area, the vast majority of that. So that's the highlight of the work we do there. Obviously, our goal is to get people housed, but if there's any questions, be happy to take those.
Questions from the committee?
Yes, speaking of getting people housed, I was just over at City Hall yesterday, new City Hall, and noticed the progress over there. How close to opening those sites are you at all?
We'd like to have both of those open before June 30th.
Oh, okay, great.
I've heard different timing within that, maybe as early as May 15th, but I'm going to stick to June 30th. It's construction, you know what I'm saying? But like this summer, yes, this summer for certain. And we've already started like a wait list. We're, starting to sort of bring people in and try and get people to fill the vacant units, or the units are not really vacant because we don't have certificate of occupancy yet, but we've already started that process to get people lined up to move in there as soon as we get the green light.
Percentage do you feel like you're at with that?
That I don't, it's early yet. I just feel it feels like whenever we open a wait list for any of our locations, there's plenty of people. So it's not a matter of whether or not we have people. It's just a process of kind of getting them, formally approved with the HUD guidelines and things like that, that allow us to then authorize us to pay the rent for them.
I was just gonna ask the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Where were we on the waiting list? And
Yep. Yeah, those are all in motion.
Any other further questions? from the committee?
Yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
What places on file?
Motion on the floor to place on file. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Being placed on file.
Thank you.
Is there any other information or any other items to discuss at this time from the body? No? With that, we are adjourned at 3:17.